I do believe this place needs to be modernized.
This is gearing up to be a major fight in this Parliament. We're not going to back down on this.
What would the Prime Minister's reaction have been if Stephen Harper had dared to propose what he's proposing?
Both opposition parties got really worked up this week about rule changes the Liberals want to make as to how the House of Commons does its work. Among those proposed changes, devoting an hour a week to a weekly Prime Minister's question period, where MPs can demand answers of just the Prime Minister. That's a feature of Britain's parliamentary system. Scrapping Friday sittings altogether. Instead, the House would convene earlier each of the other 4 days at 9 a.m. and changing the way the House decides how much time to allocate to a debate. The Conservatives are especially upset over that last one, but both main opposition parties are outraged at how the government is trying to change these rules. Such changes have historically been made by party consensus, but opposition MPs say Justin Trudeau is forcing the changes on Parliament unilaterally. They are declaring war. We're back with the Sunday Scrum. Joining me again, Susan Riley, John Ibbotson, and Katie O'Malley, all in our Ottawa studio. Katie, let me begin with you. Is the government forcing this down the opposition's throat?
They sure seem to be trying to do exactly that. I have to say, I have been covering, this was basically my equivalent of the budget last week. I didn't cover much else other than this ongoing debate, which kind of started just before the House broke the week before, when Government House Leader Bartosz Czegor came out with this list of proposals. The government, the Liberal MPs on the committee that looks after that stuff, then put forward a motion that would basically force that committee to do a really short review of these proposals before reporting back to the House by June, which means those new changes could be in place against the objections of the opposition before MPs even leave for the summer. So I really don't blame the opposition parties for raising the alarm immediately. The government pretty clearly seems to want to move very briskly on this. And yeah, they don't, at no point have they ever said that they won't proceed without the support of the other parties. So I think they're quite right to be worried.
John?
Yeah, I always have wondered why the Liberals are so incredibly tone deaf on the issue of democratic reform, which is something that they purport to care about a lot. Of course, we know about how badly they handled the question of changing the voting system to move to proportional representation or something else. They've thrown that one away, in complete defeat. Now they're attempting to impose some new rules. By the way, some of the rules are quite good. Prime Minister's questions in the UK work very well because the Prime Minister is sort of forced to spend an entire hour concentrating his attention on questions.
Let me give you an example. Right on that point, I want to give everybody an example about how that works. Take a look. We pulled a clip from the UK Parliament.
The Prime Minister said there was no deal. She now is unclear about this. Did she actually know what arrangement was made with Surrey County Council?
Can I just say to the right honourable gentleman that really he should listen to the answers I give before he asks the next question. He said, I didn't answer the question about a special deal for Surrey. I think I've answered it now 3 times, but I'll do it a 4th time.
How is the Prime... John, what do you think on that point? I know you're in full flight on another point, but how do you think the Prime Minister will handle the Prime Minister question period?
Well, of course, it has a lot to do with the culture as well of the Parliament. The British Parliament is one in which MPs ask substantive questions and ministers and the Prime Minister give substantive answers. Our Parliament has devolved into something quite different. So who knows whether focusing on the Prime Minister's questions once a week would move us closer to the British model. Also, isn't it cool that their cameras aren't under the control of Parliament, so they take whatever pictures they want, including of the Prime Minister howling with laughter?
Yeah.
But if I could just segue back, some of these things were good ideas. Having Friday off is a good idea. So, we're a big country. People can get back to British Columbia and talk to their constituents. These are all fine. But the Liberals seem determined to ram this through. And as well, they seem determined as well, time after time, to appoint junior ministers, rookie MPs, to these highly sensitive positions. I'm not in any way dissing Minister Czegor, but she is a rookie MP. She is House Leader. Usually the House Leader is a veteran who's been around the block a few times and knows how to have quiet conversations with people on the other side of the aisle. None of that is happening, and that's why they're in the mess they're in.
Okay, let's
Well, wow, the Liberals are doing things differently. String them up. I mean, I very much disagree with my colleagues on this question. I think the Liberals may be, pushing right now. I'm not sure they're intending to impose all these changes, but nothing's ever going to happen if somebody doesn't start the ball rolling. I think the opposition reaction has been entirely hysterical, self-interested, and petty. They want the Prime Minister there every day, because if the Prime Minister's not in question period, they don't get as much screen time. Basically, the media doesn't pay as much attention. Question period, as it has evolved and as we've all known it, is a squalid, unproductive waste of time that turns people against politics, that never produces any kind of coherent answers. It desperately needs to be reformed. Somehow, the House of Commons in Britain has managed with one question period a week, and, democracy has not fallen to its knees. There are other quibbles, complaints that the opposition parties have, the time allocation one being more serious, I think, than the rest. So there's a discussion paper. So discuss it. Make your case in front of the public. I just don't buy, and the notion that, but the Liberals suggesting that Friday, be not
a day off for people to travel.
They're saying, the Prime Minister's lazy. People, that's nonsense.
Okay, and a lot of people, as John pointed out, there are a lot of people that have to travel a long way, and it gives them. But I want to read some of the conversation that's coming in on this from the public, from our viewers this morning. Good to hear from you. Wayne Camo says the Liberal Party couldn't get electoral reform to suit them, so they want to change the way Parliament works to suit them. Paige Christensen says just scrap QP if it continues like the Gong Show it currently is. Katie.
Well, actually, I'm not going to be the one to defend question period. I always find it is kind of a waste of the 45 minutes, which is why I get why the opposition parties are focusing on that complaint, because they see that as the one that is most likely to build public outrage, which is why they're kind of trying to frame it as, oh, the Prime Minister doesn't want to come to the House of Commons, oh, the Prime Minister wants to give himself another day off. I agree with Susan that the real concerns here are the changes to time allocation, which would basically make it automatic that bills are debated for a fairly limited period of time, rather than forcing the government to explicitly bring closure or time allocation on legislation. There are also changes that would make it much more difficult for opposition parties to sort of launch these parliamentary civil disobedience actions by moving dilatory motions in the House, and put new limits on speaking at committees, which is one of the places right now where the debate is probably about as open-ended and as freewheeling as you get it in the parliamentary context. So I have to say, for me, those are the changes that send me into a state of heightened alarm. I don't blame the opposition parties for wanting to focus on the stuff they think is more public-friendly in trying to sort of roast public outrage against this, because they see that, the opposition parties see that as the only way they can stop this, is if they manage to get enough people angry about this, like they did with the infamous Motion 6 last year, that it forces the Liberals to back down. So that's really kind of what they're counting on, and that's why I think that's why their reaction has been as colorful and with as much flourish as it has thus far.
Speaking of time allocation, I am sorry, that is all the time we have this week.
Darn.
All right.
I know.
No filibusters?
I know.
We love filibusters.
I'm in trouble for the filibusters, just so you know. I'm just going to share. Thanks to our panelists, freelance columnist Susan Riley, John Ibbotson of the Globe and Mail, Katie O'Malley of iPolitics. Thank you. It's been fun.
Thanks.
Bye
Thanks,
now.
Carol.
Bye. See you next week. At any time, if you want to join the conversation, tweet me at Carol McNeil. Just remember to use the hashtag Sunday Scrum. We'll share some of your thoughts a little later in the program. And remember, you can catch up with the Sunday Scrum online. Simply head to CBCNews.ca, find the politics page. You're watching CBC News Network. Your headlines coming up at the top of the hour.